In this video, I'm going to show you how to add keyframes on the replay mod. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get a clip in order for you to actually use. So to do that, what you could always use, you could open up a Minecraft world, and then you could go ahead and perform whatever action you want to get a cinematic out of. So it will say recording in the top left, and then from here, you can do whatever action you're trying to do. Then in order to stop the recording, press on escape, then select on stop recording. Then select on save and quit to title. Afterwards, it is then going to begin saving your replay file. So if you recorded for a really long time, this process might take a little while. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to close out of Minecraft while it is saving your file, because otherwise that is going to mess up the file and that's not going to work. But anyways, all you want to do is you want to press on done. Once that is done, then select on replay viewer. Then go ahead and find your clip and select on load. Alright guys, so here we are in the actual clip itself, and now let's begin adding our keyframes, which is basically the entire foundation of the replay mod itself. Now before we do this, it's really important that you know what the two timelines mean. So you'll notice that on the replay mod, we have two separate timelines. We have this timeline over here and this bottom one. So the top timeline represents the in-game clip. So that represents us starting the world to cutting down the tree. So check it out. That is us all the way here. And you'll notice that it will have a timestamp of 00. And the clip was 15 seconds long. So that's why it goes all the way to 15 seconds. The bottom timeline represents the timeline of the actual cinematic. So the finished cinematic, once you add out all your keyframes and stuff like that, it is going to be here. So you could make this a 30-second video, for example, a 1-minute video, 3-minute, etc. And you guys could also use this really useful feature to actually zoom in. So let's say, for example, we're only going to be working with like 10 seconds, for example. We could zoom in over here. But anyways, another thing I would like to mention is that in order to see your cursor like me, make sure to press on the T key on your keyboard. And if you want to access the camera, press on the escape. I know it may seem a little bit obvious to some of you guys, but I know when I first started using the replay mod, I actually had a lot of trouble figuring that out. So remember, it's T in order to see your cursor and escape in order to go ahead and move around like this. Okay. So let's go ahead and now begin adding our keyframes. So you'll notice how we'll have two different keyframes. We have a position keyframe and a time keyframe. The position keyframe basically represents the position of your camera. So all your keyframes are going to appear over here in the second timeline, aka the timeline of your finished cinematic. So let's go ahead and start at 00, the start of our clip over here. And you want to go ahead and select on add position keyframe, and the position keyframe represents where your camera is positioned. So mine is right over here. You can go ahead and press on escape in order to actually adjust your position. That is 100% up to you. But I'm just going to keep it right over here. So I'm just going to select on add position keyframe. And we also need to include add time keyframe. So the time keyframe represents the time in the Minecraft clip. So remember, for this cinematic, we're going to go ahead and get us spawning in to chopping down that tree. So we need to go ahead and add a time keyframe right over here. And you'll notice that it is going to form this red line. So that means 00 in our clip represents with us starting to cut down the tree. So just go ahead and press on play right over here to play the clip out. So there you go. That is us. Then we're going to go ahead and go up the mountain, and let's add another keyframe right here. So you'll notice that we'll get this yellow line over here. So now what you want to do is you want to press on escape, and then you're able to go ahead and fly to your next camera position. So let's go ahead and position the camera right here, for example. And also every single keyframe is represented by one of those green dots. So that's how the green dot looks like. And basically it is going to follow all the keyframes in sequential order. So let's add our next keyframe over here. So let's go ahead and get a shot of like this, for example. Then you want to press on T, select on add position keyframe, then select on add time keyframe right over here. So that means in the 6-second clip, that is going to correspond with the 7-second clip of the Minecraft game itself. Okay, so now let's go ahead and press on play in order for the game to keep on progressing. And let's go ahead and end it at 10 seconds over here, because I only want this clip to be 10 seconds. And what you can do is you can actually move the yellow line on the top timeline to the finish. So let's go ahead and just go to us finishing with cutting down the tree. And you'll notice that the yellow line over here might move a little bit. Do not worry. Just go ahead and put it back to where you want. And now let's get another keyframe of us over here. And you'll notice that it is going to follow a line. So the keyframes are going to follow a line. But anyways, what you want to do is you want to press on add time keyframe and then add position keyframe. Make sure that you have both of them, both a position and a time keyframe, just for simplicity purposes. You could do more like fancy cinematic like effects and stuff like that. But for this video, let's go ahead and just keep it simple. So look at this. You will be able to notice that we'll get a line starting from the first keyframe that we place. Here's the second one. And over here is the third. So once you're done with that, you can select on render camera path, and then you guys could adjust these settings, then select on render right over here. and then press on show preview. And check this out, guys. It is now going to go ahead and actually follow the keyframes that we did place throughout the cinematic. So we should be climbing up the hill right now. So yep, there you go. Here it is. It definitely does look pretty good. And it is a pretty nice effect if you do ask me. So if you guys found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next tutorial.